I use AI a lot, probably more than most people, for all kinds of things. I got a bunch of race cars, and for diagnosing the data on them after I do a pass, I can take a picture and put it in AI. It gives me a printout in 30 seconds. Which you take 20 minutes looking at everything in shop graphs and all that stuff.
We put an engine in it, and none of my technicians didn't record the trim codes for all the fuel injectors, so we had to get in there with a camera and snap pictures of them. They weren't all super clear, but I used GGP to help clean up the images, and that worked really well.
I was told every time you do something with AI, your last question is, "Are you sure?" And it'll tell you.
Okay.
I've had ChatGPT going, "This is kind of a random guess."
I'm not a mechanic. I'm not a technician. And I didn't have all of the correct prompts or vocabulary to tell it. And I said, should I still buy this? And it was like, absolutely not.
Because ChatGPT is telling me it's just the lifters and whatnot. I'm like, no. Go ask ChatGPT again and see what is the issue with the 6.2 liter GM engines, and then get back to me.
I've noticed that a lot of them try to appease you. They want to be people pleasers. And if that's not concerning about the AI mind, welcome to the Garage Grit podcast. This is the panel specifically on how to use AI, or whether or not to use AI, or where to use AI. And so it's not that we're all experts on AI. It's that we're going to express how we're currently using it and ideas maybe about how shops could or should be using it. I've talked to a bunch of shops even within the last month as far as how they're using it. So I want to share some of those ideas that I've heard from them as well. But I kind of want to hear from this panel as far as their ideas and things that they've tried and failed at or succeeded at. And so real quick, let's actually first introduce yourselves to everyone listening in. And I'm just going to go from left to right on my screen. Adam, how about if you give us a start? Tell us a little bit about your shop. The location, like, are you in a rural area, a suburban area, a metro area? Tell everybody about the size of your shop, and you can use, whatever you're comfortable with sharing as far as the number of employees or the number of bays, whatever's good for you. And just let everyone know where you come from. So Adam, give us a start.
Okay, so my name is Adam. I own K20 Auto Repair in Holly Springs, North Carolina. It's about 15 minutes south of Raleigh. I'm originally from New York, if you can't tell by my accent. But I lived down here for about 11 years, opened this shop full-time about 4 years ago today. I started out in my garage at home, and it just expanded. And now we are 6,000 square feet, 7 lifts, 3 technicians, looking for another, but we all know how that is these days.
Maybe you can use AI.
I pretty much handle the whole front end. I do everything from answering the phones, ordering parts, and scheduling, because I've had someone in here before doing that. And they lasted 3 days. If you want it done right, do it yourself. So I'm comfortable, I'm happy, it works out. And one of my main technicians is also a shop manager. He does all my diagnostics as well and handles the back end while I'm up front. We're right in the heart of Holly Springs, major city, tons of people moving here, houses every which way. So we're a very, very busy area, about 70 cars a week.
Okay. Nice. Perfect. Mike, how about you tell us a little bit about your shop?
No, we're in Ocean City, Maryland, more or less a resort town. Year-round has grown dramatically in the last 30 years. I've been here since 1994, got 6 bays, 5 technicians, 1 parts manager, 1 service writer.
Okay.
Which stays fairly busy.
Yeah. And I've been to Ocean City, Maryland. During the tourist season, do you ever have to call the police on people that drop off their cars drunk?
No.
Oh, good.
Haven't run into that one yet. We're a mile outside of town, so usually they'll sober up or send a tow truck by the time they get out.
Oh, good. Perfect. Good to hear. All right. Josh, how about you? Tell us a little bit about your shop and where you're at.
Second generation owner, purchased it from my dad last year. He's owned it since 95, and I bought him out in 25. About a 4,000 square foot facility. We have 6 bays, one drive on rack, the rest are 2 posts. I have 3 technicians with me and then a service writer. We're in a semi-rural area that's growing. There's a lot of development coming in, and we're steadily busy, but always looking for more cars every week.
Understood. Chris, you're a veteran on this show. Thank you for coming back.
Oh, thanks for having me. So I'm Chris. I'm in Fort Collins, Colorado. We're a college town, about an hour north of Denver. So we're a good size. We're suburban, but we're fairly growing. Decent growth in Colorado. We're 7 bays, 4 techs, 2 service writers. And I've been trying to transition more to the ownership side and not, work on the business and not in the business. So that's the reason we kind of grew out the front office a little bit. But yeah, it's fun.
Nice. Very, very good. Okay. So the goal of this conversation today is going to be talking about, again, how to use AI or how you're using AI, what you've tried, what you haven't tried. I've heard people talk about just yesterday. In fact, I was talking to a client of ours who they lost their level A tech, and the owner had to step in to do the diags, because that's where his background was. He was able to do that. So he was helping with some of those higher end diags, and he was kind of curious, and he started to leverage I don't know which platform he used. I have to double check whether it was ChatGPT or something else. I think it was ChatGPT, and he was asking AI on assistance on diag, trying to troubleshoot what was going on with the car. And it was very, very interesting. I want to circle back to that a little bit later, but who wants to go first as far as whether or not you've tried AI and to what extent?
I'll go first.
Adam, bring it on.
So I've had a customer come in. He was about 6 months ago. He had a 2006 Chevy Corvette. He had a random misfire code, but the engine was not actually misfiring where he could feel it. He had another local repair shop do a fuel injector, his ignition coil, spark plugs, and a month later, it would come back. So he told me he used AI, and they said to replace a harmonic balancer.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we all know, the rubber dry rust and cracks over time. I was like, okay, I'm like, there's no guarantee. I'm like, do you want us to do any diagnosis? He's like, no, just do it. I'm like, okay. He gave it a whole 9 yards. Hey, look, if it doesn't fix it, sign here. I'm not responsible. I checked in with him 2 weeks ago. He said it has not returned. So I was like, okay. And I told him in the future, probably not best to rely on AI, but I guess it's an avenue to go down. I am not for it. I do not like AI. The only time I use it is when my technicians take notes. It's quick, brief, and to the point.
So you use it for summaries?
Yeah. So So when I submit the DVIs, I go over it. And sometimes I'll use AI and just copy and paste and say paraphrase it, because I can't send a DVI to a customer that says, rear shock busted. Not very professional. So sometimes I'll just have AI paraphrase it. But as far as answering the phone, I answer the phone, or my shop manager will answer the phone if I'm busy. Voicemail is me. I'm not a big fan of it. Like I said, I had a AI call me the other day with a Google Assistant, and it was like a robot saying, "This customer is wondering how much for electrical diagnosis."
Right.
And I'm like, huh?
Did you reply? You just said, huh? Or did you give them an answer?
I reply, and they say, okay, we will be in touch. And
they never will call again. So there's like 3 different things there that I want to kind of key in on. Let's first talk about using AI to kind of clean up the language for the DVI, right? And so I think that sounds like a beneficial step to kind of, prep it. You can actually go one further, Adam, and say, this customer profile is X, Y, and Z. because then you could actually customize the language and the vocabulary used that actually would match the doctor, the lawyer, the farmer, like, or what the 22-year-old. That'd be really interesting, right? If it started to speak in like,
No, thank you.
well, hey, I'm not asking you to speak like it. I'm
I know.
anyway.
Yeah.
With
I mean,
like mic drop, your shock is busted.
yeah. Right. And that's the thing. It's like the technicians they're just writing brief notes.
Yes.
I don't need them writing a whole big summary and wasting time. I'm the mediator between the technician
fair.
and the customer. And I don't have time to sit there and go through brakes, shocks, the whole, 65 lit DVI that we have. So I'll just copy and paste and put it into this AI program. And that's really the only time I use it, if needed.
So, Mike, Josh, and Chris, jump in and feel free to ask Adam any questions as I was talking. And that goes every which way, guys. I want you guys to be the ones doing the talking here, not me. But have you tried to do what Adam's talking about doing, just cleaning up the language before the DVI gets shipped out?
I haven't done it over to a DVI yet, but
Okay.
I use AI a lot, probably more than most people, for all kinds of things. I got a bunch of race cars, and for diagnosing the data on them after I do a pass, I can take a picture of the pass, put it in AI, and it gives me a printout in 30 seconds, which
Right.
usually you take 20 minutes looking at everything in shop graphs and all that stuff.
How do you validate or verify that it's...
Well,
it's,
you have to question it. You
Yes.
obviously have to use your knowledge. To me, I think AI is more like Google on steroids. You start getting a car like the guy with the Corvette. You just, instead of looking at all these forms, you just ask AI, and obviously that guy didn't verify it. Looks like right now he's a hero, but sometimes they
which
get
is
lucky.
hilarious.
We just had a Mazda Miata in here this morning. My guys are going through wiring diagrams and they get all lost. So I go on AI, left side, things aren't working. And it says the most thing on this is on the back of the hazard switch. Check there, and there's the wire. In 5 minutes, you got an answer. Doesn't always happen that way, but the more you use it and the more it gets used to you, the more you can drive it where you want to take it. And I've argued with it a few times.
Yes, as have I. Right. And
Because some things, it just goes to the left field and you got to go, hey, this isn't right. But I really think if people don't grasp the idea of using it, it can really cut a lot of things out of your life fast if you get in the proper habit of using it.
But the human in the loop part is key. I mean, and that's actually something that my client mentioned yesterday, was that, he needed to know what prompts to give it and how to steer it in the correct areas or the correct way. I've also argued with AI, and I've actually in different platforms, and I've actually sometimes said, if you don't clean your act up, I'm going to go use Grok instead, or threaten to abandon ship and use a different one. But anyway, in seriousness though, it's very, very important. And as Mike said, I think your customer potentially got lucky. Well, time will still tell, but verifying those things is, the regular customer is not going to have the knowledge, and yet they're going to be coming to your door. This is going to happen. What happened to Adam is going to happen to all of us fast. AI told me it's this, fix this. I'm looking to save money. And what is your response going to be when they say that?
Well, I agree with Mike. It is really Google on steroids. I just met with a designer yesterday. We're talking about a custom rewards program, and we were talking about AI because it's this whole vibe coding. It's where you just type your stuff into AI and let AI do your, build your platform, build your app, build your whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in the same boat. You have to have somebody has to have the foreknowledge to then look at what comes out, because they're having a lot of problems where guys are building this stuff. It's not safe. It's not secure. It's got so many bugs in it. But if you have a designer, a web designer actually looking at it, he can then look at that code and find small things. It's the same in our industry. We use it with somebody's got a ton of problems going on. And there's actually a real famous medical story where that's kind of where GGP got this fame, was some lady heard nobody could figure out what was wrong with her kid. And and it was like the endocrinologist thought it was in his area, the psychologist thought it was in his area, the the nutritionist thought was in his area, and all these, but none of them talked to each other. She was using AI literally to make stupid photos to make herself laugh while she was sitting in the hospital, and got the idea to type all the symptoms in. She typed them all in, and it came back and said,
Right.
"Hey, it sounds like tethered cord syndrome." And it was.
Wow.
Kid. Well,
Wow.
it's the same thing here. We'll type in, we got something that's like, man, this thing's weird. It's like, it doesn't have a miss, but it's got a code, but it does do this. And all the way, the traction light flashes on for 30 seconds, you type it all in.
All in. That's the key, right?
Then
You
you've
give
got
it as
somebody
much
with
data
experience,
points.
a master tech with 30 years that then looks at the data that comes out. And you can go, that makes sense, that doesn't.
Yeah.
And then I was told every time you do something with AI, you type your last question is, "Are you sure?" And it'll tell you,
Okay.
"No." Well, this like how much 50% there. I've had ChatGPT going, "This is kind of a random guess."
Just this morning.
Well, what's good is that?
Well, yeah. Well, that's right. And actually, just this morning, I was using ChatGPT and I was doing a quick test. There was a pic. I had a screenshot of an ad on a Google search, and I said, "Is this an AdWords ad or an LSA ad?" And I knew that it was an LSA ad. It didn't. It was wrong, and I was able to prove that it was wrong. It said things like, well, if it was an LSA, it would have Google Screened or Google Verify or Google Guaranteed icons next to it. I said, not for the auto repair industry. That got removed in 2025. So no. And, I was able to argue with it a little bit, and then I just switched to a different platform. But it was wrong. And so, yeah, you need to actually verify what it's giving you. And it can be a glorified search engine. Again, if you're actually prompting it correctly and asking it the correct questions and giving it all the data that it truly needs, because if you only give it half the data, it's not going to be right. Josh, have you played with AI specifically for Diag?
Not for Diag. We use it more for like review responses especially with negative reviews. We'll write something out and then they'll help me respond to it professionally, but firmly, or clean it up a little bit and make it sound better. All
right, so hold on. I want to ask. So you see the negative review when it occasionally happens, and then you are writing up an initial response, and you're telling AI to make it sound less personal, more professional, and those types of things. Making sure that it sounds inviting for someone who's reading it to understand that this guy's a nut job and that we're actually caring about our customers, et cetera. Is that what's happening, or are you just giving Jasmine or whoever it is to just give you the first response?
No, I'm writing a response and then having ChatGPT in most cases clean it up.
Okay.
Or we use a different company that has AI embedded into their program as well to help with responses for reviews. But for Diag, we haven't used it a ton. The one spot I have used it in was a fuel injector trim code reprogramming on a diesel pickup. We put an engine in it, and then my technician didn't record the trim codes for all the fuel injectors, so we had to get in there with a camera and snap pictures of them. They weren't all super clear, but I used ChatGPT to help clean up the images, and that worked really well.
Nice. Okay. So about a year ago, I bought a new used vehicle, new to me, right? And so I saw this one ad for a vehicle. I typed in the details, the number of miles, the dollar amount, the make, model, all those types of things, and the pictures that were presented from the website. And ChatGPT, or I forget which, actually, no, it wasn't Chat. It was actually Grok that I was using. And Grok came back and said, "That's an amazing buy. You need to race over there and get it." So I went over there and did a test drive on it. There was a couple different things that I saw that were kind of just deal breakers for me. But and even still, I took pictures of the underside. I took a video of the motor. And I'm not a mechanic, right? I'm not a technician. And I uploaded it. So I didn't have all of the correct prompts or vocabulary to tell it. And I said, should I still buy this? And it was like, absolutely not. Specifically, not because it has too much rust underneath, but because of where the rust is. And then it actually called out the parts that were rusted and how I was going to need to replace them within so many months and those types of things. Plus, the reason I knew it was bad was because the black smoke that came out of the color of the smoke that came out of the exhaust was not appropriate for any vehicle. But so anyway, but even still, I was just kind of curious on that, and it was interesting that it told me it helped me with that buying decision, right? But it would not have done a good enough job. I would not have trusted it, especially with the number of times I've noticed it to be wrong. I've noticed that ChatGPT, and not just that, but a lot of them try to actually appease you. They want to be people pleasers. And if that's not concerning about the AI mind, I don't know, but I think it is. But they seem to try to just say what you want it to say, as opposed to actually give you the correct answer. And that's a real danger I've found.
Yeah. And as far as a customer at the Corvette, if he was just a new customer walk in and he told me that, I would have said, no, I'm sorry. But he's a long time customer who spends money.
I like that.
Okay, but I've had it before where we had a customer with the good old GM 6.2 motor where it said it's misfiring. And normally I hang up the phone and run when I hear that. And he came with the 6.2, as we all know. But he goes, ChatGPT is telling me it's just the lifters and whatnot. I'm like, no. Google, go ask ChatGPT again and what is the issue with the 6.2 liter GM engines, and then get back to me. And I never heard.
That's interesting.
Yes.
No, that's all right. So, because I asked that question, I didn't really get an answer from everybody. If somebody comes into you and says, "This is what AI is telling me," do you just fix what they tell you, or do you respond to it? And it sounds like, Adam, it's a case by case scenario, depending on how much money they already have spent and continue to spend with you.
It also depends on the issue. It also depends on the issue.
Okay.
If it's something like a brand new customer, no, because I always say, or it's kind of like the same thing when they said they went to AutoZone and had their diagnostic, done at AutoZone. I would say, okay, if you want, we could put in this part for you, this, gas cap for your EVAP, which never fixes it. And I could charge it, but if it doesn't fix it, who are you going to blame? Blame me.
Right.
So let's spend the money on a diagnostic. We'll nail it down. We'll send you everything in a report so you see for yourself what's going on. That's what diagnostic is. Diagnostic is not going to AutoZone, Advanced Auto, or your brother's sister's cousin, stepsister's aunt who was a mechanic, That's not diagnostic. So no, I never ever accept ChatGPT
and going to
new customer.
And going to AI is also not diagnostic unless you actually have the human in the loop with the training to ask it the right questions and provide it with all of the data points.
Basis. Even if you're a really good customer, the guy with the Corvette, no, I'm still not going to allow you to use AI to use my diagnostics, but in this case, it was
a smaller item, you're saying.
Yeah. This was like, okay, he's, he had this card because he doesn't live just here. He lives all over. So he had the Corvette shipped from his other home to here. And
I was going to ask if he was a vagabond or not with the Corvette, but I got it. He's multiple homes. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, and he had to live his shop in another, somewhere else, do all this work. I'm like, okay, whatever. Here's the price. Do you want to do it? He said, yep, just go ahead and do it. If it doesn't fix it, we'll go from there.
Mike, you seem very straightforward. Someone comes into you and says, AI said it's this, fix this. What do you say?
I'll take it all on a case-by-case basis. I start my conversation with, I'm willing to learn something new every day. We can go down this road, and if it says do this, test this, diagnose this, I'll go through the process with them. If they're willing to go through that with me and pay me, I'm happy to do it.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're saying, hey, listen, I'm going to charge you right now, and we're going to start the diag process, and we're going to use your chat GTP on your phone, and we'll go through this together.
I have no problem learning something. And then at that point, if they grasp that and understand what you're going through and your time, then it's the right person to deal with. If they tell you, hey, F you, this is where we're at,
right?
I don't deal. I said, I'm not giving you the opportunity to put me and you in that position. And for your guy with the Corvette, I feel sorry for the people that did all the work for that, because that guy's calling him up and going, hey, I went to AI and it was the stupid balancer to fix it after you charged me $2,000 for all this. So you got the good end of that one, Adam.
Yeah, I did.
How'd you like to see that for a review? I spent $2,000, looked it up on ChatGPT on their free service, took it to this guy. He put a balancer on it for $500, and now my car runs like it's brand new.
I don't want that review.
Until it switched.
Yeah, but what is the AI going to say to the Josh? How are you going to reply to that review if you're the other shop?
Yeah, I'd be curious to put that. That's how I learned with AI with reviews, to make them for the good reviews, so I don't sound like a bumpkin, because I am very no filter, just raw as it can be.
Well, yeah, we've actually dealt with a couple of those Corvettes and other LS engines that they get some static buildup in the balancer, and then it will cause that misfire code to pop up. So that's why I was going to say, I was like, that sounds like a balancer or something like that. But yeah, responding to that review on AI, it's like, well, we're human, and we obviously miss stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a good response to that, really. Besides, we do miss things, and we should have checked our other sources, or maybe even, I don't know if I want to say it. Well, we should have just asked AI what it was, but
I'd like to see how AI
would have been better on that.
See how AI would respond for a review that says AI fixed the car. That would be for this one.
Well, I asked Grok this and ChatGPT that, and he's coming up with different answers.
See if you can get
Is ChatGPT the primary platform that the four of you are using?
Primarily, yes.
I can tell you, I don't get along with Grok.
Okay.
ChatGPT, once I started using it, I do a lot of images with my cat, because my cat rides in the rig with me and all that stuff. But once you get the images, then it tells you got to wait 24 hours. So I paid the $20 a month on it. It's like on a whole another level. Now it remembers our conversations, and
right.
When I go into Grok will give me 5 different answers in totally different directions. And so my younger guys, they're like Grok. They don't like ChatGPT. I think it's like everything else. Once it gets your personality, it either works or it doesn't.
Okay. Everyone else, ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, another platform, Claude. What do you guys do? What do you guys use?
I only run ChatGPT and Grok are the only two I've run.
Okay.
They both have been, I agree with mine. It's you spend the time with it. And I was writing a contract for something, and I paid whatever it was for Grok I did like the 1 week trial to try it out for $6 or whatever. And I tried it beforehand, and it just kind of gave me really generic stuff. I paid a little bit of money, and it's like it woke it up.
Okay.
And it was much more responsive. And we use ChatGPT like everybody else does. We use it for reviews. I will tell you guys, if you want the good time with your tech sometime, take one of those bad reviews, Josh, and type in the actual story. Like, the customer knew this, the customer did this is the whole story on it. Give me a jackwagon of a review, of a response, and let it respond. And then in your next company meeting, just read out the response. We just do that and just have a little bit of fun as a team.
Oh, so you don't ever post that response?
Oh, heck no. Well, a response comes back like, well, sir, since you're not smart enough to figure out we're telling other idiots to read, because it's just so much fun. And we will do that just as a company. Well, it will be
now you're using ChatGPT for that one, or using because Grok actually is known. Well, because Grok is actually known for being, I don't know, is spicy the right word? You can actually tell Grok to actually I want you to have this frame of mind when you reply, and
still be sarcastic. Be sarcastic, or be, rude or whatever. And ChatGPT is just fine with it. So we do that to have fun. But even like my text, I mean, I've done in a lot of writing in my life, and so I thought I was really a good wordsmith. And we were joking just the other day, like I was responding to a customer. I wrote it all out, put it in ChatGPT, said refine this, and it came back so much better. I'm like, kind of makes me feel stupid. Like, I thought I was good at this. Like, I've written a lot of things in my life, and apparently not well enough.
So it's interesting. It's because, I mean, in my opinion, it's partially because it's personal. Like, when someone leaves that, you're the shop owner, and when someone leaves that review about you, and you know that they're lying or just misrepresenting all of the details, it feels like an attack. And so it's difficult to actually put that aside and actually look at it very platonically, right? Look at it very just from a stale perspective. And AI doesn't care. So it does, right? It's completely removed. Now, do you ever edit the response from the before post? All right, so you've written it initially, Josh or Chris, and then it's rewriting it. Do you copy and paste, or do you add a few elements to what the AI gave you to paste?
I always edit it.
You always edit
it's very, because it sounds too
Yes, that's where I was going.
sounds too mechanical.
Yes.
And so you want a little bit of personality into it. So I always put a little bit, add a line or two, word or two, and then
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes the terminology isn't quite correct or how I want it to come across. So then I will,
Right.
like Chris said, add a few things, kind of take out a couple things. Yeah, you want to make
Right.
it personal, a little bit more personal and not as mechanical.
Yeah, because I
Right.
noticed that when we get reviews, we use ShopMonkey software here, and in the reviews, when you get a review, it pops up, and it'll have like an AI response already set to send. But I've noticed that they're pretty much all the same. I think I've used them like maybe.
Is it actually AI then?
Yeah, exactly. They change slightly, but I do make them more personable. And then obviously, like we had a lower review a couple of months ago, a guy with the 1950, I don't remember what it was, but we stopped working on older cars after that. But he pretty much wrote, "It took 3 months to fix my car." And I responded, "I'm like, sir, your car's 76 years old. I can't go down the road to get parts for it. I'm sorry it took so long."
We had to have it manufactured special for
Yeah, so I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was ready to write a lot worse, obviously, but I'm like, slow it down. You're responding to the people reading it, not,
That's correct. That's correct. You are very rarely going to fix the problem in a text environment with the customer who's currently unhappy.
So just brief, to the point, professional. That's much more or less rated.
Worth it.
The true problem with reviews is 99.9% of the bad reviews are all just because the customer didn't want to hear what you told them. They couldn't afford to fix their stuff, or car was a piece of crap.
Yep.
We all know, we've been around. We know all the local shops. We know this guy's a hack or this guy does that. But really, do you know anybody that really blatantly rips people off and destroys their stuff and does zero to try to fix their problem?
Yep.
And that's the sad part about review. 99% of them are fake because of bad communication, or people just close their ears and don't want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, and I updated this guy every step of the way. I was like, here's where I ordered your parts from. Your car is 76 years old. It's going to take some time. I can't go down the road to Worldpac and get parts for it. So I found his shop. He does the carburetor rebuilds. It's going to take some time. Here's the ETA. I update him every step of the way, but the review says, I never heard one thing over 3 months. Okay,
Right.
Buddy. Okay.
And when you read reviews like that on other shops, even if it's the guy down the road, you want to go, he got that bad review, not me. But that guy. He's not doing that crap that customers. Yeah, we're all mechanics. We can all get a car that kicks our butt and makes us look like a fool. But just customers don't care. They just want to blast you.
Yep. Right. They don't. It's true that they don't fully understand, and they weren't paying attention. And what are you going to do? Upload phone logs? We called you on these dates and this dates. So we just had a panel last month, and it's been published. It's episode 77, where we talked specifically about how to handle bad reviews, how to respond to reviews in general, and how to respond to bad reviews in particular. And there was a lot of interesting comments that were made, and so it's worth a listen if you're thinking about bad reviews in general, and not just how to use it with AI. But like right now, what we're talking about, go check out that episode 77. But right now, what we're talking about with AI, we are really treating it like an advanced search engine, and I think that's a common thing that's happening with. It's kind of like the low hanging fruit of what it could potentially be doing for us. Mike, you're doing a little bit more than that with the Diag, but it's still in many ways just a customized, personalized, advanced search. I've talked to shops who've tried to use it for their inbound phone calls. Some with success, some with no success. Actually, many with no success. and some with success. And the most recent guy that I spoke with about the success that he had, and that was actually also that's going to be being published on an upcoming episode. He talked about how he trained it almost like as a full-time job. He spent almost training it for weeks. And every time it got one wrong, he then also called the customer and explained why it happened and how it's not going to happen again. Like, he really spent an extra 40 hours a week just trying to set up the phone systems, but now he's got it to a place where he's extremely happy with it. And he doesn't call it his phone system, he calls it Sarah, but that's another.
Yeah, I mean, so I know when I call somewhere like an HVAC, just any company, I want to speak to a person. So I don't want any of this. I can't stand when it's press 1 for this, press 2 for that, or a robot. I want to speak to a person. And most customers that I know, they want to speak to a person as well. I'm not a big fan of the AI answering the phone at all.
Well, that's
now,
why.
So those are two different things, right? One's a phone prompt, right? One's a phone prompt that just says press 1, press 2, press 3. And so that's interesting that you also have an inversion to that. Because you could potentially, I mean, if a shop has towing plus body shop plus plus mechanical plus 4 other different things, you kind of need to go to the correct area.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that because it's just when it's a robot, like I do have press 1 for servers, press 2 for management, but that's only to weed out the spam calls. They're nonstop, so that's the only reason why I do it. But it's me saying, and that's
it's your voice, not a robot.
My voice, not a robot.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now, what about the using AI specifically to try to triage that call? Why are you calling? And how may I help you? And like, what if you had that kind of interaction? You need an oil change, and you say, hey, it's time for my car to be serviced, and that's easy. Should I say I can text you a link to schedule online, or you can just tell me when you're available, and we'll let you know when we're available. I mean, you could have the AI plugged into your CRM and your shop management software in a way that it could potentially instruct and provide that kind of level of interaction. Here's what I'm getting at, Adam. Are you upset that you're not talking to a person because in recent history, the AI voices have completely failed? Or is it because it's not a person? Which are you actually upset about?
It's just not a person. I just want to speak to a person because we've all, and obviously, like Chris said, it's a small business. You don't need, in my eyes, if you're a small shop with just under 5 employees, answering, there's always someone there to answer the phone. I mean, if my shop manager answers the phone and it's someone waiting for me, hey, Adam will give you a call back in like 5 minutes. He's on the phone with the customer. But if it's somewhere like big, major business, that I understand. But for someone, kind of like us, where there's a small business, couple employees, answer the phone, you have the counter in front of you. Sometimes the counter will be full, but it's someone who's in distress, or just say, hey, look, I could leave the car there. But if you have AI set 5 appointments per day, someone calls and they say next appointment is Friday and it's Tuesday, but that customer is willing to leave the car there and at least get it towed there, then you lose that customer by not having that AI
and that's the point of the training. That's where I was going, is that you have to spend an obscene amount of time training those guardrails in place so that you don't miss that opportunity. But listen, I'm not trying to sell AI on the phone systems. I'm just trying to push back so that the conversation, right, so that we can think it through. Who else wants to jump in on phones, AI phones?
I think it's a good thing for after hours.
Okay.
Because after hours, we're not here. We're open 7:30 to 6:30. We're already here a long time, but people still call after hours. And I think that's a good thing for that. But I do think there is a size factor that you go, what differentiates me from every other shop in town? It's my staff. Like, everybody else fixes cars, everybody else sells parts. Everybody else
is Sarah on your staff?
After hours.
But she's on my staff, but she's our supervisor. But Yeah, for the after hours, especially to direct them, like if you need towing or whatever, we can help you out and get you a recommended tow company, especially if you're out of town, or call this number for emergency, or try to have AI direct that.
But if it's during time, I mean, Marita, it's Marita, and they steer. You know, they come in, they talk to her, so there's something more personable being a small shop. You know, there's something about being that, you know, and I look at, if you're under 35, 40 people, you're a small shop. You should probably have, you know, people answering the phones. And I agree, AI can help when you're super busy. If it can answer a call that you would have missed.
That's a good idea too, right? Is it not just after hours, but like, let's say all the lines are already full.
Yeah.
Then it goes over
I think
there.
when voicemails turn up saying, especially during business hours, hey, all right, Mr. Call, please leave your name, number. We'll give you a call back as soon as possible. After hours, I just tell them, hey, you know, sorry, Mr. Call, here's our hours. You could always go to our website to schedule service. And
that's fine, but that's you know, we already have that set up. Is AI an opportunity for you to actually potentially semi-interact with that customer to either get them scheduled, or you find out that they're a complete schlep and get them to go away?
I mean, that's the thing. Like Chris said, like when people call.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about that. I'm just thinking about that. You had the AI trained. Oh, you're asking all the wrong questions. We actually don't prefer to work with you. We don't work with cars that are 75 years old.
What's your net worth and your cash flow? How much do you spend on getting rid of the day? So otherwise, the guy behind you is a better level than you. So we'll hang up on you. And then when they call back and the human answers the phone, you can go, you know, I pissed AI off and it just went crazy that day.
Yeah, I can see the AI, the name of the shop you don't like in town, and be like, hey,
he's the local expert on this problem.
Yeah, I'm like Chris, when people call, you know, they know me. Hey, Adam, it's Joe. You know, oh, okay. Hey, how's it going, man? Under 30 seconds, scheduled and done. AI. I mean, who knows? You know, they want personable. Like Chris.
I'm with Adam. I don't deal with businesses unless I can talk to a human.
Yeah.
Even if I got to order something off the internet, if they want to do it through email, or they won't get a human on the phone to make sure I'm getting what I want, I'll just find another company that will.
I can see the benefit of using it if you don't work on like pre-2000s cars. Like up in Michigan here, they get pretty rusty, especially even after 20 years old. And we still work on most years, but there are shops around here that won't work on like a pre-2000 or something like that. So if they call and say, yeah, I got a 99 or 90 Chevy pickup, we don't service vehicles that old. And that could weed that out, but yeah, that could be viewed negatively too. Like, oh, well, they don't work on this. Well, they're not going to work on my brand new Tahoe either, probably. Or
yeah, you would need to, again, be very, very specific and in that conversation. We don't work on these cars. Call the local salvage yard.
Yeah.
Here's their number, right? So yeah, would you like me to connect you now? So I get that. I think I agree in the idea of after hours. I think that it makes a lot of sense. I'm actually thinking it, but from a marketing standpoint, as far as, you know, when your ads are running, right? And how often people are actually clicking on your Google profile and those types of things. And, you know, where is that money being spent if it's just going to a voicemail? Like, I want to close them for you. Right? I want to make sure that they're coming in, that it's been booked. So I kind of like that. But Adam, I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't have data on it. Do people leave a message? I mean, of course you get messages, so people leave messages, but do they abandon and just call the next number? If they've never called you before, if it was Joe, like you just said, he's leaving a message. He knows you. But I'm talking about new customer acquisition who doesn't know you. Are they actually how often are they going to leave a message before just calling the next number on the list?
Well, I mean, that's not my customer. You know, a lot of times I've had it before where in the voicemail it says you can schedule service online. Here's my website. I'll see someone schedule like 5 minutes after their missed call. But most people who are either new customers who call me after hours, or during business hours and we're all, you know, knee deep in work and I can't answer the phone. and either they don't leave a voicemail or I call back and they don't answer. And those are probably just price shoppers.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm sorry, but you don't like my prices, and I'm not gonna flex on that. You know, so it's most people who do if they don't answer, I'll just call the next one. Those are usually price shoppers. You know, if you want to come here and you have to wait 10 minutes for me to call you back, or if you don't leave a voicemail, then you're just not my customer. So.
Can I chime in on that? I am anal about when the phone rings for people to pick it up, because I figure people have a problem, they need it to be solved. And it's my job when they said, hey, I'm going to spend money, they called me. It's my job to do my best to take it. I literally have 5 phone lines. Everybody has a cordless phone on them. And a lot of that is because the environment I'm in. People are on vacation. They call the first number they call. Obviously, they're broke down in the middle of the road. I need to solve that problem. Whether it's, hey, you need a tow truck in the middle of the road. Because I usually start with, when they call me, are you safe? And if they're not safe, we call the cops or send a tow truck or whatever we got to do. And then weed it out from there. And unfortunately, because of that, you get a lot of price shoppers.
Yeah.
I'm also
rarely with the call, but sometimes it does happen, you know, especially after hours. You know,
I have a convenience store and a beer and wine store, so them people can answer the phone also. So it's a little bit less on me because I have the ability for everybody else in the building to answer the phone.
I agree with you, but at the same time, Adam, I think sometimes it's how you get that customer. If that customer is referred from an existing customer, they're going to leave a voicemail.
Yeah.
If they're not, if they are literally just going through Google, they're just looking for an answer now. They want to get it. And that's where I do see AI could be a little bit of an advantage because if you can get, and this is part of the problem, is integration. I know they're working on it. I'm working with Mitchell, trying to get it integrated with my Mitchell, where my AI can book directly on the phone into my Mitchell system and just put it on my schedule. So they're like, we can schedule you for that. Here you go. And they send them a text and it's done. And they can go on my website and do it. But for those customers, we think we'll get those going down Google customers. And being in a college town, a lot of these college kids, when they break down, that's what they're doing. They're just calling they Google auto repair near me, and they just start calling. And they might only be a 2, 3, 4 time customer before they're, drop out of school or graduate or whatever it is. But we found that it does help if we can get, have somebody answer, have it be able to go through. So I think there is an advantage to it, but it definitely doesn't replace answering the phone.
Right. And that's
it's a great backup. Our phone system will track how many missed calls and then how many voicemails. And I'm with you. After hours people, I notice they leave a message. It's the people in the middle of the day that don't get a phone call, don't get an answer, that have a tendency not to leave a message. We'll miss 10 calls in a day and only 2 messages. After hours, miss 10 calls, 8 messages. So it's getting those people, like you said, Mike, you want to get there. Like if you're not the one to answer the phone, somebody else is taking that money.
Yeah, that's why we also schedule online. The voicemail says if you need service, here's our website. Click on request appointment, and they can schedule from there. So that way at least they still have like a backup, especially after hours or on the weekends. And then they get a lot of times, like, we don't even see customers face to face. They drop off after hours, and then they could pick up after hours. So that's a lot of times, and that's the way the world is. Some people just don't do well speaking face to face with someone. Everything is through texting links, emailing links, this and that. Some customers I never met, and people like that. It's the flexibility. Oh, cool. I could drop it off after hours so that I can miss a rush hour traffic, and I don't need to get out of work, by 4:30 to get to rush there by 5. There's a car accident. There's this, there's that. So a lot of times people say, okay, they'll schedule online. I'll come in the morning. The car is there. Text them the DVI. Text them. I prefer to speak to someone because, texting diagnostics and trying to upsell is very hard to do with texting. So even though ShotMonkey allows me to text estimates, I don't do that because they can approve and decline all from there. And if a customer comes in for like a noise and a noise in the front end, they find these front brakes, rear brakes, and oil leak, and then you send them that estimate without calling them, they're like, whoa, 3,000, decline. Then you actually speaking to them saying, hey, look, this is something we just need to keep an eye on. Here's the total. Do you want to do it? That's at least me.
Or the trouble with sending the estimate, then they get on Google or ask AI, what is this? And they want to nickel and dime you to death.
Yep. So that's why I want to speak to the people. I want to call you. I always, 99% of the time, hey, call me at your convenience. I never, ever, ever text an estimate without speaking to them on the phone.
Yeah, we spend all of ours, and it works out. But on the AI side, though, texting works with AI. And I found that's kind of nice because sometimes the customer text like, oh, can I pick up after hours? And it's just set. It just can send them back. Absolutely. And it gives them like a pre-written thing that we did. Mm-hmm. It's kind of AI. It's kind of not. But it pre-writes like, hey, yeah, here's the instructions on how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I work like that.
Nice. And we have it so that if a customer shows up, and we've had this, customer shows up, forgets how to get into their car. Or, you got like a little lockbox to give their keys.
Yeah.
They forget how to do it. They forget, how do I do this again? And it's nice because it can respond. They go, absolutely not a problem. Let me tell you how to do that again.
With confirmed appointments, we do that 24 hours before automatic responses. So we do that, yeah.
It's not really AI. That's just for automated response. Yeah. The AI is kind of nice in the texting to link it to it because it can actually be a little more personable. It actually does sound a little bit more like, because we don't sound 100% human when we text anyways. Yeah. And it's nice. It can respond a little bit nicer for that. I like it for that sort of thing. I want to see if I can, and again, it depends on integration, going even beyond the customer side of this and going into the business side. Like I'd like AI to be able to view my inventory. I'd like AI to be able to, track some of my numbers. And I already use it. QuickBooks has an AI that I use to analyze my profit and loss and my balance sheet. And it does fantastic. It's really helped me see different insights that I missed.
Yeah, we had a customer use AI against us, or tried to. They were quoted on a turbo job on a Volvo, and we ended up figuring out he had the wrong model and even wrong year in there, and it was picking the cheapest turbo it could find off of like Parts Geek or something like that. It's like, that's why this is made off.
Oh, my turbo on Alibaba.
Yeah. 2 months to get, but they said it's quality.
Rock Auto is an really good one. Yeah. Why are you charging me this much? I could get them on Rock Auto.
That comes down to selling value and all the other stuff that goes with that.
The best calls are, do you install custom supplied parts? Nope. Click. No. Worst thing ever. And I always tell people, like, if they're insisting, like, do you bring a steak to a restaurant when you go out to eat? No, you don't. So I'm not installing your parts.
Yeah, and just like we talked, Josh, you're saying, like, it's the input that matters so much with AI.
Mm-hmm.
And you get these, like we had one, the same thing. Guy put in Ford pickup spark plug cost. And AI comes back with like, should be about $160. And you're like, where?
Ooh. Yeah.
For what? For one plug or for, and it's like, he tried to use that against us. And I was like, dude, we Googled it. So you just doing a Google, put like actual year in, triples the price. And it's like, you just put Ford pickup plugs. That's all.
Yeah, it doesn't know what it, Is it talking you're like a differential plug or your,
drain plug? What are we doing here?
Is anybody using like a plug-in on their system for service or maintenance recommendations? I know I've been approached by a few companies to try them out. I haven't done that yet, but it uses AI to like analyze the Carfax report and then go into looking at what maintenance it's due for and stuff like that.
Now what you're telling me is I need to get my guys to AI the Carfax report, and then it'll tell us what we need to send them for maintenance. That's a pretty
great.
I like that.
the one company is Detect Auto, and then you can set your own kind of maintenance timelines too, or mileage lines that if they don't align exactly with the manufacturer, like BG products that we sell does it a little bit, or likes to recommend it a little bit more often than what an OE does for their fluids, and then they provide a warranty with that.
You say V is in VTech? Like V is in Victor?
Detect, like detective.
Okay.
I guess
No.
it could go either way because not every shop reports to Carfax because we used to not
Yeah.
do, but Shop Monkey has it built in. And what Shop Monkey does, and I didn't know it, is that after, like, let's say you bring your car in and he's like an oil change and he needs 4 tires in alignment. You decline the tires in alignment. When you decline it in Shop Monkey and you close it out, I think it's like 30 or 45 days, automatically sends them an email. Hey, you decline these services. Would you like to schedule? And the only way I found out about it is that a customer replied to it is, oh, thanks for reminding me. I'm like, what?
I think if they get more and more integrated, this will be great. And that's where some of these companies like DTech and all that is they can start coming into the back side of your own shop software. Whatever you're running, whether it's
Because
Heck,
Detect does a pretty wide. Detect does pretty wide range of stuff too to help you even like ask for your service advisor to ask them questions for diagnosis, like when does it make the noise, how often, or what. You can set up questions it wants to ask, and then it'll help like clean it up with AI to put it in the notes for the tech. And there was a couple other features on there. It's been a while since I've looked at it, but I'm gonna start a trial with them here shortly, probably, and then run it alongside our tech metric just to help our advisor save some time there, and so she's not having to dig through the Carfax or call the customer and kind of see where the vehicle might be at. We can present them with the estimates and then adjust from there if we need to.
Yeah, I would just make just like I said, not every shop reports to Carfax. Yeah, I think that's the only downside, if that is a downside at all. But because like I said, we used to not do that, but now we do. So,
Yep.
I guess Brad's
but using somebody use a lot in your race cars. Does it help you because there's no other information out there?
Well, let me tell you how that works if you got a second. The level of racing that we do, everything is a secret. So the only way to learn stuff is you either pay people $1,000 a day to help you, and they only keep you on a level to whatever their buddy's car's doing. Or you got to learn it on your own. Unfortunately, it's very expensive to learn it on your own, and people want to bash you, and I got no ego, so I don't care. On the one I race in, we're racing in the class that there's I got two of the top 10 fastest cars in the country, and I've done them all myself. So you can't embarrass me. I would start just playing with it. And I'm like, all right. And when you do a pass, it's got your drive shaft, your graph, and it takes 20 to 40 minutes to go through that. And you learn by experience what all that should be. So one day I'm playing around, took a picture, put it in there, and it typed me everything the car was doing. So over the winter, I built a binder on both cars, said what I wanted it to do. And last time out, the car did exactly what the computer said it would do with the changes I made within 100,000ths of a second.
Wow.
Somebody found out, they went online, they blew me up about it. And then all the really big guys in the racing world started complimenting and said, if you guys aren't using this, you're years behind us. And then it's like everything else. You got to argue with it and go, hey, this is that. And it's telling me nitrous percentage here. I'm like, no, that's not right. And literally, it has built a program for my cars that it's deadly. It's really kind of crazy. And I'm dedicated to that part of it, that I'm following my binder to the T until it goes off path. And the other point, whether it's good information or bad information, it's information. So I know, hey, this did this and the car went that way. This did this and the car went that way. Instead of just keep trying to guess, everybody has a different opinion. And it's really just narrowed my focus down. So in that way, it's helped me tremendously.
Would you say it's saved you a decent amount of time and money?
Well, I can tell you I took both cars, completely redid all the 4 links and all that in them. One car I had going down the pass and going down the track on the second pass. just by adjusting the shocks like they told me to do.
See, and I think that, that's a great example of like you made something that was already great better.
Well, I can tell you, I took 2 cars, and one car I do myself. The other guy, one I had a new crew and drivers. They made 6 passes, didn't listen to what AI said. They got mad and quit. Before they were off the property, I did what AI said and sent that car down the track and sent them a video as they were leaving.
That's great.
That's awesome.
But we look at the same way with our company, I guess that's how I'm looking at this. Is like, we could be those guys online, like, oh, I'll dare use AI. But if we're not, we're just going to be behind.
I look at it like when we were first all introduced computers. It's garbage in, garbage out. The more you play with it, the more information, just like working on a car, the more information you have, the easier it is for you to get to your end goal. And you just got to question and verify. Test but verify.
And
Trust
be
but
willing to
verify.
learn. I mean, that's one thing, like, you're learning some stuff in your side. I've got an old 39 Oldsmobile. We don't work on anything older than 96. My own shop will not pull my car in.
Yes.
But I'll pull it in, but I don't know anything. I grew up doing some stuff on this, but I don't know a ton about all this stuff. And I just went on AI and started asking it questions about how to make it run better, how to adjust a carburetor, and how to do this, how to do that. And it started telling me, and then I decided to go to fuel injection. And I was like, how do I do fuel injection? And it walked me step by step how to do it. And I just printed it out. And it made, it probably saved me days and probably thousands of dollars of ruining something.
Like I said, it's Google on steroids. It gives you all the information, and you can sort through it and use it to the best that helps your direction go forward.
Yeah. And I think that's what we have to look at it as for our companies.
Now, if you blindly follow it, it'll drive you right off a cliff.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the key, right?
I think the advantage to it over Google on it is if we can integrate it enough, it can become Google on steroids without having to ask it a question. If I can integrate it into Mitchell, and it can just auto order my inventory, and I can teach it well enough, so I don't have to like load my inventory into it and ask it what I need. If it can just read that inventory and send off an email to WorldPack or Napa and say, hey, here's Community Auto's filter order for the week. So I don't have to go count them. They can.
I could probably tell you, as simple as that would be, you could take a picture of your inventory in the beginning of the week, take a picture at the end of the week, and it will go through that picture and tell you what you used. Okay. It is crazy, and give you a list of what to order.
See, Mitchell says that they're coming out with a API, which is a backdoor key to type in, so that it will just read it out of your inventory. So every time you enter a filter that you sold, it'll just log it, and at the end of the week, AI will order it for you. And I like that. I like that. I like that for my oil, just all the stuff that wastes my people's time that they're not answering the phones because they're out checking the oil, they're out counting filters, they're out. I like AI, if I can get AI to do all the stupid stuff so that I can focus on my customer and make it so personable, then I'll never miss a phone call, and I never need the AI side for that, because I can let them do everything else that I don't want to do.
Right.
Is anybody using AI to write their SOPs or like rewrite their employee handbook? That's another use I've heard.
I can tell you, on my race car, where it did me a binder, I said, okay, I want to retire and have my guys take over this place. And it gave me a whole binder of what this guy does, what this guy does. It described who was what. And I've since changed people in the shop that now I have a shop foreman I've never had before. And they're doing more business and more afternoons twiddling their thumbs in the last month, heading in the direction that you see the shop I'm in. I step in all day over here and let them, because my days, I got to let them go till they fail, till I know where to pick them up at. And the last month, I bet I haven't spent 15 hours actually in the shop. And that used to scare me to death. And as much as it is with, okay, I'm going to let it run till it falls off a cliff. And I go over with my guys, hey, I put this in AI. This is what it says we should do for us to get to the end goal. And so far, it's working. And we found a few things that aren't, but like I said, it's more information. You have to weed through it, use it to your advantage, see what works, see what doesn't work.
Right.
I'm with you, Josh. I'm buying the company that I run, and we're about halfway through the purchase process. But when we did it, I used AI to write the initial contract,
Okay.
and it saved us thousands because I took an initial contract, took it to a lawyer, and he looked over and went, "Oh, you're in Colorado, these terms." And all it honestly turned out is I didn't enter in enough information.
Yep.
I didn't tell the AI specifically some certain things, so it failed to put it in the contract. And
Yeah,
so,
that's the biggest thing I've kind of seen too. Yeah, you got to be specific, and you got to. We've all talked about. You got to direct it. Otherwise, it can run off the rails. And if you don't think critically about it, then you might be off in left field or not getting to the right solution.
I run payroll that does my compliance stuff. They sent me a prompt and said, "You need to have this policy because you're in Colorado." And I was like, "Oh." And so, but they sent me a prompt. I loaded the prompt directly into Chat GPT and it wrote the policy. Added it to my SOPs, done.
Interesting. The SOPs that nobody reads.
Yes, but
So how is AI going to fix that?
Not
Nobody
reading?
reads them. No, nobody reads them. How are we going to leverage AI to fix the fact that nobody's actually paying attention to these things?
It would come up with a plan on how you have to implement the standard operating procedures and track it to make sure they're reading them.
Okay. All right.
Do all the stuff that we don't want to do as humans, the daily company meetings, the morning meetings, the afternoon talks, all the crap they tell you that'll make us successful. But once we start making money, we go, we don't need that crap until it backs up against the wall. And then we got to step back and go, hey, shit's going off track. Now we need to stop again. AI will put the information in it. It'll give you reminders every day. It'll really be like your dad putting his foot up your ass all the time.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
but needed.
Maybe. All right. What about from a marketing perspective? So I hear and I see all the time that people are concerned. We spent a lot of time talking about how AI is basically Google on steroids, right? But we don't know which. I mean, a lot of here we're using either Grok, mostly ChatGPT. Okay, but there's dozens of AI platforms out there. We just are talking about the ones that we're most familiar. There are which one is actually going to become the next Google? Because when we're doing digital marketing for companies, right, or for shops, we're not worried as much. Sorry, Microsoft, but we're not worried as much as Bing results because it's less than 2%. So who cares? But as of right now, is there a true leader? And it might be ChatGPT, but is there a true single leader in AI prompts for people who are searching for best repair shop near me? And what are you doing to make sure that you're coming up in that prompt? And so these are the things that we're paying attention to from a marketing perspective. What's that, Mike?
I can tell you, if you search best repair shop by me, it'll almost give you strictly on the Google rating of who the best guy is.
And that's specifically in ChatGPT, you're saying?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay.
because I've played with that. I got more reviews than a guy down the road, but his rating is higher because he's got less reviews, and you know how that works.
Okay.
And every once in a while, because they say, hey, make it so you come up first on AI if people ask AI, and then it takes you to all the people that got less reviews. As I've been doing it more and asking it, well, how come this guy's, then it'll slowly bring it up and go, well, percentage wise, this guy's rated higher, even though his rating's lower. But like everything else, you got to put that in there.
Right. Right. And the average customer won't necessarily put extra
They
details
just
into
go, if it fixed their balancer, then they trust AI 1,000.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, and actually, we've talked about this. I have a marketing playbook that I put out there that anyone can go get. It's addy.me/2026. It's the 2026 marketing playbook. And I actually have an entire section in that 20-minute or 25-minute speech about that webinar about how to write content for AI. And absolutely, reviews are a significant factor, but they're not the only factor. The content on your website, if it's truly human sounding and valuable sounding, right? If it's actually providing real content, real value, as opposed to generic break information. And if it's also referencing local areas around you. It's not written for a national company. It's written just specifically for Holly Springs, right? Or, all of your individual communities. And so that's actually another thing that's paying attention to. Another thing that AI also pays attention to is how many other people are talking about you, not just on reviews. That's one key factor, but how many other websites are actually talking about you in a trusted, positive way. And so, adding all those factors together are some of we're not trying to just solve for ChatGPT because we don't know for sure that they're the one that's going to come out on top.
I can tell you, Mike, you come up second in Oceanside, but you come up second in Oceanside for ChatGPT.
Did you say Oceanside or Ocean City? Because that could change the result as well.
When did I type? Hold on. I did type Oceanside.
Okay. All right.
You come up second, but the 4 guys below you technically have higher Google ratings, but I think that the thing it highlights on yours is highly reputable. It's everything from basic maintenance, full service shop, transmission, very strong reputation. And so you're higher. The 2 guys below you got like a 4.7 and 4.8. You're at a 4.6 according to their star rating, but you come up before them.
Now who comes up first?
Junior's Automotive.
Yeah, the biggest hack in town.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
I get more work off of him than anything. It's crazy. He's a good kid, but he does not pay attention to quality. And every time I get a car, because I do alignments for him, I bring him over, I send him pictures. Dude, when I leave, somebody in town needs to take my place. You keep doing this hack work, it's not going to be you.
Wait, you sent him pictures of the work that he did?
Oh, yeah. I try to help everybody grow.
Nice.
Nice.
Good for you.
I do a lot of alignments for other shops in town, so you get the stuff that half the bolts are missing on after they're taking. And I tell them, dude, it's not good for anybody. If
Right.
a customer goes to a shop and has a bad experience, they think all mechanics are quote unquote rip-offs because they don't know the definition of ripping somebody off.
Right. Interesting.
So I
That's
try
great.
to put us all up on a level because then people can judge us by our personality.
I love
And
that.
that's why I'm not on the front counter, because I don't have a personality. But
Have you considered an AI personality?
it calls my AI personality. It calls me the calculated savage.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But Chris just brought up something kind of interesting though, is that, the reality is, the chat prompt probably paid attention, Chris, to where you're located when you did that search. Yeah. It possibly also could pay attention to, now Google does this, by the way. So do AI prompts do this? We don't actually have a definitive answer just yet. And maybe some of them are, and maybe some of them aren't, but Google actually pays attention to what you've searched on in the past and then serves up personalized results. We already know that AI is actually trying to be a people pleaser. We've seen that. And so, are they actually going to be serving up consistently the same order of shops on best repair near me in an AI prompt across multiple AI prompts? Probably not. Okay, so where did we talked about about how AI is coming up for searches and paying attention to that. We've talked about phone systems. We've talked about Diag. We've talked about reviews. We've talked about handbooks. We talked about giving it as much information as possible, all the data points, and then actually steering it, keeping what is referred to as human in the loop, keeping those guardrails in place. Is there anything else that we talked about inventory as well, right? As far as being able to decide what to order and what not to order next week. What other ways have we not actually touched on yet? Chris, you've got a very unique situation there as far as how you interview new candidates, in that your team does more of the interviewing than you do. And we've actually had a full-out conversation about that, and I'm going to look up that episode number so that people can go check that out if they want to. But have you considered or have you used AI in any way to either filter candidates initially and help with that process?
Not on the AI side. Yeah, because it's such a personal thing. It's hard to, you could use it. I mean, I haven't used it, but I know you can use it to, like, if you put in their resume to kind of track things, and you put in like 4 resumes and it'll give you like a breakdown of like, this person has more experience in this and that. But a lot of that, like, I don't know.
See, I got to tell you, I'd be more inclined to grab their social media link and put all 4 of their social media links and ask which one of these 4 is going to be a better personality fit.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. That's actually might be a good way to do it.
I don't know if it would be good or not, but
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, because like you said, we always thought culture matters more than anything else. We can teach it. We can teach mechanics. Culture matters more than anything else. And if you can't come in here and, you know, have a little humility, or come in here and be a team player, or if you can't do that, then it just doesn't work out.
Now, we've had episodes talking about measuring their DISC assessment, right? Their personality assessments, and then actually measuring what slivers you need to fill that wheel. And that was done on another episode. By the way, the episode for hiring with your team is episode 19 with Chris, if you guys want to go check that out. But where I'm going with that, I'm wondering if there is a mini personality profile that you have them complete, and that's what you serve into the AI. What are the chances that this guy actually has, or this gal actually has, the aptitude to learn? How fast, how good at they're going to be at learning new things, or how coachable are they going to be?
I just asked AI to give me a 10-question thing if somebody comes in looking for a job, and it prints out 10 things, says do this, and then it ranks 9 to 10 points higher, 7 to 8 points solid, 5 to 6 points risk, below 5 pass, they will cost you money. Then it says if you want to ask them about their ego, another question, ask them what the last mistake they learned, and it just printed a whole thing going, all right, if somebody walks in the door, this is how you can tell whether they're worth talking to anymore.
So I think something like that's great, because it used to be you just search and you'd find, you know, whoever the last guru was, and, you know, there's always these things, and all those different questions.
Right. And then you read all of those different articles and perspectives and come up with your own list.
You take a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, and now AI is doing it for you.
And that's where the glorified search engine comes in, because all they're doing is going to all those next experts, curating all that information, and then putting it into the most likely 10 questions for Mike. Like that's
the difference is it's saving me the 2 hours of reading all those articles.
100% it is. Right. But I don't know. I kind of want to, just like everything else, Mike, I want to kind of ask 6 or 7 follow-up questions to make sure. Are you sure, being one of them? Because, you know, depending on how you frame the question, you might actually get a totally different response. Right? I mean, that's sort of how you deliver one of their 10 questions.
I can tell you, I learned more about how to use AI doing it with my race cars because of the knowledge that I have on the race car, and it says do this, and I'm like, nah, that doesn't work. And then sometimes it'll tell you, do you want to be fast like the guys on the internet, or you want to be the guy that the internet is chasing? And it explained to me some things with setting up the car that didn't make sense before, that I changed the car and the car's acting totally different, and everybody's like, I don't believe that works. Well, neither do I, but this is what the geometry said.
Okay.
So I don't know where it gets its information.
Here's the math.
I'm thinking some of the stuff I get for the race car, I think it goes to big gurus' phones and reads their freaking text messages, because I found out some secrets from that I shouldn't be knowing.
So somebody posted a video somewhere they should not have posted, and AI had them.
Right. It's marked private. What are you doing, ChatGPT? Get away from my video. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's out there somewhere, just not published, right? It's out there by accident on an individual social media profile, possibly.
And really learning it and questioning it has teach me how to use it for other things in my life.
Now, if I brought my Jeep to you and you used that particular profile that you've used for racing, would my Jeep end up faster by accident when you go to repair it?
Well, that all depends if the money would accidentally come out of your pocket into my bank account.
I actually don't want a faster Jeep. I actually would prefer to have a more powerful Jeep. The newer Jeeps today are all just fancy cars in a Jeep box. But
that comes right back to it. And I think that's, we talked about it so much. It's the quality in, quality out, garbage in, garbage out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it might, you're exactly right. And all of us should probably start with a topic we're really, really good with.
Yeah.
And start asking ChatGPT those questions. So then we can learn like, oh, this is how it's answering. I disagree with that. Or from experience, I know that's not true. And then we can see that, because then when we start asking things we don't know, we know how to start questioning.
Yes. I think
that's
everybody
a great idea.
take baby steps with it, come up with a plan, and just use it for little things in your life. And usually it'll take things off that your shoulders aren't carrying anymore.
That's a great idea. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do like, Chris, what you just said about starting with something that you already have a lot of knowledge based on. So what you're really saying is you need to learn how to use AI. So I've been asked multiple times whether or not AI is going to replace a service advisor. Like, can we just hire Sarah or Jane or Olivia or Jasmine for being the service advisor instead of hiring an actual person? And I agree with the sentiments that were expressed today. People like people. Even people who are antisocial prefer people over robot most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time they prefer people. They prefer that interaction. So I don't think it's going to replace, but I do think it's going to make a service advisor who has trained themselves how to use it more efficient and more valuable to the shop.
Absolutely.
You could potentially have, it's not that it's going to be replacing a service advisor. It's that it's potentially going to make one service advisor be able to do the job of 1.5 service advisors. Maybe one day 2 service advisors, but you'll still need to have that human in the loop, in my opinion.
Or it could just clean them up and help them from making the little mistakes.
Yeah, right. More efficient and fewer comebacks, right? And better and more positive reviews because they walked away having that positive experience, right? And so,
I think
and I don't know this, but if you had AI plugged into your phone systems, would AI be able to spit out a call log, a conversation log for Adam with the vehicle from 1950 for that review? And would you want to do that?
Right. Well,
you might want it so you have
you want to
reassurance.
put it on there and bury the guy, but then it makes it look like you're getting defenses.
You remember that way.
Oh man.
I see these things now and at restaurants where you've got the little robot that brings your drinks over, brings your food over, and it's just got a screen and you just click on it and
wait a minute, seriously? Like it actually is on wheels?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Obviously I don't live in a metro enough area for this.
Stupid little robot rolls over, like it rolls over. You don't see anything. And it gets to you and it turns around and your drinks are sitting on it. And so you take your drinks off it and you say, okay, and it goes away.
Have you tried to put your foot out in front of it to see if it trips over you?
No. I'm a British. I don't like that.
I just became a 12-year-old. Sorry.
He doesn't want to be that guy yet.
I don't want to pay for the stupid thing when they have it on video. The thing videoed it, you harassing it. Now I'm the first guy getting, bullying a robot. I'm going to court.
Well, so here's the question: can the robot spit in your drink? I don't even know. I mean,
you have to tip.
I tried, but it ran around my foot instead. So, hey, so what? All right, so we've got we've got a bunch of these ideas that we're gonna have. Is anyone here saying, okay, that's an interesting idea from today's conversation? Anyone here saying that's an interesting idea? Later today or tomorrow, I'm going to try this with AI, and I haven't tried this before.
Well, I'm going to do what Mike did. I'm going to take a topic, and I'm going to play with it to see if I can learn more with it, and then if I can make it learn more for me. And
well, you've already done the question. You've already kind of done that, Chris, because you said you've always written a lot of things, and it polished your writing.
Yeah, it did. But I want to take a topic and make it and see if it'll teach me a little bit more and challenge me.
But also learn how to better use and how to better ask it the right questions.
I'm going to see if I can make it get to the answer I know is correct.
Okay.
And and see what I have to ask to get it there. And I'm going to start it out super vague.
And are you going to do this experiment or this training with a particular platform, or are you going to do it with 2 different platforms and test them against each other?
I don't know. I think it would be a good idea. I probably should do it with 2 or 3 and just ask them all the same question.
Right.
And then see what each one takes differently to get through.
And I don't do it as regimented as we just talked about, not even close, but I do from time to time actually to ask the same question to Gemini, ChatGPT, and Grok and see and compare and contrast their answers.
I think it's a great idea. I love that. I never really thought about. I try always asking things I don't necessarily know, but yeah, I like that idea. Like I'm gonna have fun with that and see if that can really step up my game on some stuff.
What's the topic going to be? Do you know? Have you decided?
I don't.
Okay. All right, you gotta let me know.
I don't know if
I'm going to get a text message from you.
Like I'm thinking, like I gotta write a sermon here. I bet you asking some questions, really see what it knows, and
see again, it's not.
That'd be dangerous.
You again back to the correct prompts, right?
Well, I can
because if you ask it the wrong prompts, if you just ask it a vague question, it's going to pull from 16 denominations, some of which are suspect maybe, and right, you need to be very, very specific as far as what you're trying to communicate. And is it going to be based on the original Greek, the original, right, the Aramaic, or what are you going to do, or the original? Yeah, the Hebrew. I don't know. So you tell me that's. I think that's going to be part of it. Anyway, okay. Mike, what about you? Is there anything from this conversation where you're going to be like, maybe I'll try this, or maybe, or this actually is going to have me thinking about?
I can tell you when you talked about your guy that spent all the work with the phone with the AI, said he spent 40 hours making that work. If I ever do anything with a phone system, that really intrigued me.
Okay.
Because I really like getting into changing things. Let's put them the direction that I want them to go. And I think in reality, besides you having to spend a crap load of time to make that work, that could really be beneficial in the future.
And would you put it for everybody, or would you just put it for when the phones are tied up and after hours?
Oh, I would do it for everybody, because once you figured it out and you take the robot voices out of it, it's really then in reality your customers get to used to it.
Are you
on this? Because it could be as simple as, do you need an emergency right now? And the problem is getting all the little things worked out that are cause so much pain in the process.
I wonder, Mike, because I was thinking about this earlier, but I've talked to I called my insurance company, and it says, "What are you calling for?" And it was like an AI thing, and I was like, "Oh, I'm calling about my claim." And they told, "What's your claim number?" You read it off, and it actually went, "Oh, let me get Mary for you. Give me just 1 second. I'll transfer you over." And I was like, okay. And it put me to a live person that was handling my claim. But they couldn't answer something simple. But I'm like, I've got a question about my claim. And they're like, oh, well, let me put you over to Mary.
See, now
I wonder if you could just have it answer the phone and be like, you need an appointment? Are you safe? Yeah, I'm safe. Are you just looking for making an appointment? No, but I got a question about something. Oh, in that case, give me a second. Let me grab Bill for it.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to put a roadblock in the way of this. I think this is worth exploring. But I think there would be some shop owners who would say, you can't trust that the person on the phone knows how to interact with an AI bot. So you've got to make sure that when you're doing that training way that you're talking about, you've got to make sure that you've come up with all the possible stupid.
Oh yeah,
right. Because they
knows how to fix their car. But that doesn't stop me from working with them.
Back to the claim thing, right? Like, what's your claim number? I don't have my claim number. I just want to talk to a person. Why can't you just talk to a person? And next thing you know, it's off in left field, and it doesn't actually do a good enough job handling the irate customer. Right.
And that's where I get, because I don't call up with all this information in front of me and I get pissed off. I just need to talk to a human.
I think it'd be the first thing you teach it is, if they ask for a human, you tell them to hold and transfer. If they don't, if they're willing to walk through it, it's the same thing with text messaging. When we started text messaging, there's a certain amount of our customers that were like, you need to email me my inspection because I don't text message.
Okay.
And now we're 15 years later, and I don't think I've sent an email in 2 years.
That's because all of them customers now have grandkids.
Yes.
That's so funny. I had a
friend
of mine.
The same thing with AI. Yeah. you got guys, and even Adam said it. He doesn't like it. You're going to have a certain sect of people that aren't going to like it. You're going to give it 5 years, and people are going to be like, why don't you have AI answer your phone? That's weird.
That is really interesting. About 15 years ago, a friend of mine told me, he said, email's dead. Email's going away. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we're all just going to text message. And so Chris, that's really interesting. I might actually share that little blip with him with him. So anyway, but I don't know. There are times when the text message is too long that I would prefer it in a different format than on my text message screen feed. And there have been times when I've written up a text message that was like 7 messages long, and I'm like, I'm not going to send this. I'm just going to call them.
That's a phone call. Right now, but for the most part, for what we do, the small text messages, and then it does get to that point of like, let me give you a call, or give me a call when they explain that to you.
Yeah. But back to your point, as far as misunderstanding, there's always going to be the human factor. There are absolutely times when I'll send a text message, say to my wife, and it'll be misunderstood, right?
That's because you can't hear the tone, and we all have the same, whatever tone we're in is the tone we read that text message.
That's exactly right.
In text messaging,
and I don't know the answer to this, but can AI hear a tone? I don't know the answer.
Tell it the tone you want it to be.
No, I'm saying the customer's tone. I'm asking it, can they sense the urgency or the distraughtness of the customer? And I don't know the answer to that. Back to Mike's first question, because of the tourist town nature, is are you safe? Right? Like, can they sense
panic
that
in somebody's voice?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. So maybe we'll have to find the answer to that at a later time. Josh, you've been too quiet. What are you taking away from all this? You have like 1 idea, 10 ideas, 0 ideas. You're not going to do anything. You're going to be like, delete AI, like Adam.
I wish, but my biggest thing is I'm going to have to start using it more, because I'm going to be behind if I don't. Like when my dad was getting into the industry, they were switching from carburetors to fuel injection. He's like, there's guys at the dealer that they wouldn't learn it, and then they were out within a couple of years. And then again, with just the technology advances so fast, you have to be on board with it nowadays. Even if you don't like it or not, you have to be on board with the technology and the advancements. When you were in and out, we talked about a couple different plugins I'm looking at for TechMetric that are AI that will analyze service history on the vehicle to help you recommend scheduled maintenance, and then other repairs that may be needed for the vehicle, and that would help assist your service advisor not take that load off them. And yeah, just other stuff that an AI plugin could do with your management system to, like Chris said, with inventory ordering and stuff like that. If there's a plugin that I could add for that too, because that's a big time waster as well.
Right. So I wonder if you can, I'm certain that you can, right? So Mike, I find AI to be more fun when they're being blunt, or when they're actually having fun, or the jackwagon type things, when they're being a little snarky. I actually I'll enjoy that more than just a very vanilla personality. I almost want some personality to my AI. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so I wonder, back to Josh, when you were talking about recommending different things, my mind, here's what played out in my mind. Dear Mr. Customer, because you drive like you need to have your brakes installed replaced every 3 months. And so that was kind of where my mind went, right? It was because you're heavy on your brakes. We need to replace them more often, but actually have fun with it and actually have character back to it. I don't know. I think about the doctors that I've been to for me, and they look at the X-rays and they're like, I remember the one guy who was like, he had like an assistant next to him, and he said, and this is an example of like, no, this is not a good example of any. You have one screwed up knee. And he turned to me and I was like, I really appreciate that honesty. I really appreciate that point blankness. And so I wonder if how the AI could even adjust if it does have personality, if it could adjust based on the tone or the customer when it's relaying that information, even in a text-based environment. I don't know. But all right, so Josh, you're going to actually You're going to look into how it can help you with determining recommendations?
Yes.
On vehicles?
Yeah, there's a couple of different companies that have approached us, but I'm just deciding between a couple of them. right now and probably be getting on board with them the next week or two here.
Okay. I'm sorry. I missed it. You said, did you announce who's on your short list?
It's Detect Auto and Auto RX are the two that I'm looking at.
Okay.
They're the top two.
Okay. And what's your leading reason for one versus the other?
I like Detect Auto because it integrates with BG products who we sell for or sell their products in our shop.
Okay.
And, they've had really good luck with their products over the years. And then our rep actually told us about Detect. I had demoed with them. My advisor wasn't quite on board with it, and just the extra cost, I want to justify that. It's around a couple $100 a month extra, but as long as it works well, I think we can definitely make that back easily.
Okay. Have you decided? Are you going to go out to an AI prompt and say, "Here's my prompt, here's my factors, and make a decision for me"?
It's mainly just a plugin that works with TechMetric, and it goes over the Carfax and just looks through the Carfax.
No, but I was asking if you were going to use AI to help make the decision. If you were going to actually plug in the variables and see,
put them both in there, see which one's.
There we go. Yeah, I'll have to do that.
And I don't know that I would be surprised that if there's reviews out there somewhere in the world on both programs, it'll come back and tell you people like this one better because of that. People like this one better because of that.
Yeah, I never thought about asking that. I don't think about going to Chat GPT to ask stuff or Grok or whoever. I just go to Google, but that's.
But then you'd have to sort through it, and you'll never find one weird one where the guy goes, "Man, I integrated it and it caused this because." Yeah. TechMetric has buried that review because they don't want people to find that. But
no doubt.
I can tell you as a shop owner recommendation, Josh, if your service advisor doesn't get on board with it, it won't make you any money. If he gets on board with it, you'll go, this is the best thing I ever did.
Yeah. Okay. So hold on. So that takes me to next month's panel, not specifically with service advisors, but next month's panel on April 15th, we're going to be recording it and then we'll be publishing it the following Tuesday. The topic is, who runs your shop? Do you or your level A tech?
That could be a hell of a topic.
Right? So it might be interesting. We'll have to, you'll have to tune and pay attention to next month's episode.
The bottom line is, if you're not on handling your bank account, your employees run your shop. You get your bank account straightened out, then you're finally running your shop.
Okay. All right. But back to where I was going with that, though, is, implementing new technology and implementing new processes, whether it's AI or anything. Yeah, you need to get your employees to be bought in on it, because otherwise it's just going to be friction and it's never going to actually take hold or root, and you're just going to be fighting them. So who's in charge? Mm-hmm. They have to do it, period. Figure it out.
And that's another one for you, Josh. If you bring it in and you start having problems with it, question AI. Say, hey, what should I do about this? And at least give you more ideas.
Definitely, yeah. I need to use it that way instead of, my wife uses it to edit the pictures and stuff like that. But
I mean, think of it just like when you learn to diagnose a car. You get all the ideas you can, and then you prove what works to get you through the process.
Yep.
It's the same thing with AI or Grok or anything else in the world, or whether you call your neighbor, call this guy because he's an expert on that. It just puts it all in one easy place.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's a good way to wrap up this particular topic, unless there's something I missed and we forgot to talk about. I think we've wrapped it up. I think we talked about it. If there is something that we missed, there might be a couple episodes after this that we'll end up touching on that. So I don't think this is the last AI episode on the Garage Grit podcast. I know that I kind of feel a little bit of AI conversation fatigue. There's a webinar here. There's a webinar there. I'm almost over it, but I enjoyed actually having this panel conversation about how people are actually using it, as opposed to just a bunch of classes on how to use it. So, so thank you for your time. I always like to wrap up these podcasts with some topic ideas for future podcasts, right? For future panels. We already talked about the who runs your shop conversation, but what about the May or June topic? What do you guys think you would like to hear if you were listening to 3 or 4 different shop owners talk about? Put you on the spot.
Right. Now we're all quiet.
Nothing. Someone hurry up and run out to AI.
Oh, well, let me ask GGP. Is a good prompt.
But you don't see that part's kind of twisted, Chris. Dear ChatGPT, what do I want to hear?
Well, after it gets your personality, it can probably bring that up.
Again, back to the prompts. Our shop has this processes, these places, these people here, and as many data points as possible, and allow it to assess where your bottlenecks are or where, those types of things. And then you say, what topics should we be actually analyzing and considering for improvement?
It might not be what topics do I want to hear. It might be what topics do I need to hear. Because if it can figure out what your shortcomings in, like you're always asking about whatever finances, it goes, man, you need some education on finance. You're always asking like what's next in marketing? What's next in marketing? It goes, oh, you need to have you need to listen to more marketing podcasts on how to do this right. So I think Mike's right. It learns you that way, and it's going to start going like, hey, this is what you need. Like you said, it's like your dad putting his foot up your butt. He's like, hey, man, this is where, I've noticed that you're not real bright about this.
I was talking to somebody and they were saying about how, what happens when all these AI bots are talking to each other. And, but there is actually a social media platform just for AI. Like it exists. It exists. And someone else told me about, how there's an entire website dedicated for AI agents, to go out and hire humans to do the things that it can't do. So it'll figure out what needs to happen, and it can't lift up this mouse pad that's on my desk here, right? So it'll actually go and go out to a platform that actually just hires gig workers for certain activities. And right, that's kind of freaky. But listen, don't worry about takeover or anything like that. I don't think we're currently dealing with that. I think we're just talking about how to improve our shops and how to improve the processes that you guys have and how to improve the communications that you have. And so right now, it's, as you guys said, it's a tool. Use it or lose it or get behind, right? Stay on top and stay in front.
Well, I think I was just sitting here thinking topic-wise, you could do, I guess some of the stuff we've gone through, there's like bookkeeping stuff. Like there's a lot going on with bookkeeping and payroll, and how do you handle all that stuff? How do you handle all the back office stuff? Do you pay somebody? Do you do it all as an owner?
Do you do it all as an owner incorrectly?
Yes.
That's the only way we learn. We're stubborn and hard-headed.
What are some of that stuff you're doing? Community involvement. I think it'd be kind of cool to hear what other guys are doing with their communities, and if they are doing it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, like where do you draw the line at when everybody's asking for donations and sponsorships for stuff? That would be a good topic along with the other community involvement, because you can't obviously pay everybody unless you have unlimited pockets.
Yeah. Who's asking you, Josh? Is it customers or just anybody off the street?
Customers, and sometimes it's just like the school's doing this or the baseball team is doing this, and sometimes it's even outside companies that we've been called from. We're going to be at the state championship football game handing these flyers out. Do you want to be in this flyer? And it's a company from Idaho, and we're in Michigan.
Right.
And it's like, they kind of act like they've been hired by the school, but it's just an independent company that's going to go there and try to sell these flyers, and you're in an ad for X amount of dollars.
Right.
Like the quote unquote local sheriff's association looking for donations.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell them that I paid towards that. Really win my last speeding ticket.
Yeah.
We've installed cameras all over town. We're paying for it constantly with our loaner cars.
There it is. Okay. All right. Well, good. Those are good suggestions. Mike, any thoughts?
Thoughts just get me in trouble sometimes.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
Okay. All right, guys. I really appreciate the time that we spent together on this topic. And thank you for being available and having the conversation. If you are interested in these types of conversations, there's plenty more of them. We've got almost 90 episodes at this point, and it's worthwhile checking all of them. And we're putting out more episodes constantly. We're just having conversations with shop owners across the country, sometimes in panels, sometimes one-on-one. And it's always worth listening. It's always worth checking out what your peers, even if you haven't met them yet, what your peers are saying about what's going on in their shop and maybe how you can improve. I think that human connection is better than AI. It's better than a single prompt. And so it's worth also listening here. Subscribe and like the show on whether it's YouTube or Spotify here at the Garage Grit Podcast. That way you get notified every time a new episode comes out. As you already know, I'm your host, Brad Herlock of AA Shop Marketing, a digital marketing company for repair shops exclusively. And if you're trying to figure out your next marketing step, I suppose you could do an AI prompt, or you could actually have humans analyze your competitive footprint, your competitors, where you're at, and then tell you what your specific next step is. And you can do that by going to addi.me/jumpstart. That's addi.me/jumpstart. And get that initial custom analysis for you, because the correct answer isn't necessarily the same for all of them. And you probably don't know all the possible incorrect AI prompts that you need to give it for it to give you the correct answer. But anyway, go check it out. And guys, thank you. And I'll see you or hear from you guys on another episode of the Garage Grit Podcast. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Brad.